On the edge of Dunleary Town, Bridget and I perch ourselves on the edge of the 40-foot, in swimsuits and white bathrobes and brown boots, and watch flocks of the elderly strip down to their knickers. My mom's eldest sister cackles. The perfect first sight in the morning, the bare arse of a feckin' old man. The 40-foot is a former gentlemen's-only bathing place, carved out of rock, with changing stations open to both the air and the sea. The changing stations are painted a cerulean blue, but I never understood how the benches and walls were painted with the motley trinity of sideways rain, wind, and sea spray. The changing stations must have been painted or dyed by the sea itself. On the benches, a crowd gathers in sagging bathing suit bottoms, holding stout shot glasses, the color of crystallized ginger and brown bread, between thin fingers. One pours a clear liquor from an unmarked bottle. I know from the smell of sour barley that it is poteen, moonlight liquor made in the bathtubs of Donegal. Cheers, they say, raising their glasses. Peering down with Bridget and I, onto the hushed celebrations of the swimmers, is the Martello Tower, a squat, round tower of gray stone. On top of the tower, 100 years earlier, in 1904, stood James Joyce after he came forward up the winding staircase, mounted the round gun rest, gazed over the bay of Sandy Cove, and inspired the lines he wrote in Ulysses: "The snot green sea, the Scroton tightening sea." Bridget disrobes and tugs one strap of her bathing suit over the pale, freckled curve of her shoulder. The chest of her navy blue swimsuit is uneven. There is a hollow cove where her breast once was. Breast cancer was an unwelcome visitor, but a mastectomy was a welcome thief. When I was 10 or 11, I couldn't help but stare at the lopsided bathing suit, not because of her missing breast, but because I had never met a woman with a flat chest like mine. I watched the swimmers changing into their suits as Bridget tucks blonde curls into a swimmer's cap. The older men are grumbling. Some of them have just returned to the sea with kelp jangling on their ankles. They take out clothes from a briefcase, pressed white shirts, dark pants, and brown loafers, and strip down from their used bathing suits. Others slowly undress from their tweed suits, unbutton their work shirts, and unlace their leather loafers. They carefully fold their underwear into tiny squares and slip them into the breast pocket of their coats. We leave our belongings on the rocks and begin our descent into the sea. A staircase of rocks and a metal stairwell greased with kelp drops into the water. Swimmers gingerly step down, a tightened grip on the metal bar of the stairwell, sometimes bending down and splashing water on their arms, but they're always shivering. The temperature of the water is below freezing. Bridget dives into the water from the stairs and swims to the edge of the rocky outcrop, laughing. You catch your moment of life and death here. Once I start down these stairs, I cannot return upwards. No matter how long I climb, I never seem to get closer to the bottom. The waves are kneading against the rocks. An older woman with a flowered swim cap stops me on my rocky descent. "It's like bath water," she smiles. Go on, but don't hesitate. I dive headfirst into the sea. When my head breaks from the ceiling of the sea, my lungs are lost. I don't know whether the air should be coming out or going in. I forget how to breathe. The sea is tricky. The longer I swim, the warmer the water is, but never truly warm. Bridget swims up next to me, laughing still, and cocks her head towards the older swimmers. If we can't outlast these feckers in the sea, we won't outlive them either. Go on, move your arms. We swim and swim, laughing, until we feel our limbs again.